Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Shilpa Data Insights.
In this video, we are going to discuss about the most frequently asked questions in Databricks Associate Engineer Examination. This is in continuation of Databricks certification playlist. In the previous video, I explained about the exam overview and its syllabus. If you have not watched that video, then you can watch that first and come back to this particular video. I have pinned the previous video in the I bar. So let's get started. A data analyst has provided a data engineering team with the following Spark SQL query. Select district average of sales from the store sales 2022-0101 group by district. The data analyst would like the data engineering team to run this query every day. The date at the end of the table name should automatically be replaced with the current date each time the query is done. Which of the following approaches could be used by data engineering team to efficiently automate this process? So what this question is actually looking for is to replace the current date and time automatically with today's date and time when creating this particular query. So you have to go ahead and get this particular thing dynamically. So in order to get anything dynamically, first of all, you have to wrap this particular select query in a Spark SQL command. And using the help of string, you can go ahead and parameterize this particular option. What you need to do is you have to wrap it around under spark.sql. Inside the spark.sql, you have to put an f string. In the f string, basically, you have to write the select query. And inside the select query itself, you have to use the variable that you have declared. Let's say the variable is current timestamp, right? So this is how you write the current timestamp in your Python. So this variable, you have to put it inside the curly braces and use this particular variable. So let's see which option is correct in this. They could wrap the query using the PySpark and use the Python string variable system to automatically update the table name. So this particular option is actually correct because in this they are actually putting it inside the Python string variable system using the help of the variable in the curly braces with the help of the f string. Okay. The other options are actually ignored. Question 23. A data engineer has ingested the data from an external source into a PySpark data frame, raw DF. They need to briefly make this data available in SQL for a data analyst to perform a data quality assurance to check the data. So which of the following commands should the data engineer run to make this data available in SQL for only the remainder of the Spark session? What we have here is a Spark data frame, and the data analyst is a SQL guy, right? So he or she needs to go ahead and query this particular data frame in the SQL. So let's read this particular options that we have. Basically, you are creating or replacing a temp view first. In the second option, you are doing a create table out of a data frame. Here you are doing write.save and then save as table. So if you will see, the syntax for create table is not right. The write is also not correct. The save as table is not correct also because it is like df.write.save as table, right? So this is not correct. What you can do is you can create a temp view out of this particular data frame and then query this particular view using the SQL and get the result out of the data frame itself. So this is the particular option that is correct. A data engineer needs to dynamically create a table name using string using three Python variables, region, store, and year. An example of a table name is below. When region is NYC, store is 100, year is 2021, and you have to create a table with this particular syntax. Which of the following commands should the data engineer use to construct the table name in the Python? So the table name is as this follows, right? So you have to create a table name like this. So how you can do it? So in the previous question, you have seen how to exactly use the variable that is declared it in the Python. So these are all your Python variables. So how exactly you will create a particular dynamically Python variable that you can use, right, to create a table name. So now it has an f string. Inside the f string, you have a region, which is NYC. In that region, you will see it has 100, which is your store, okay? Which is 100 basically, which is your store inside this. And then you have an underscore, which you put this underscore as it is. Then you have sales as the keyword, which you keep it as it is, and the underscore. And the year is there, which is 2021. So you put your curly braces. Inside the curly braces, you have the year. So the correct answer for this particular question is your D, which is region, store, underscore sales, underscore year. So let's move on to the next question. A data engineer has developed a code block to perform a streaming read on a data source. Code block is below. The code block is returning an error. Which of the following changes should be made to the code block to configure the block to successfully perform the stream read? Okay. So in this question, you need to be aware of how to use your streaming reads. What is the syntax of streaming reads? What are options and formats you need to use in the streaming reads? So let's read out the option. The dot read line should be replaced with read stream. Okay, this seems to be correct. A new dot stream line should be added after the dot read line. The dot format cloud files line should be replaced with format string. This is not correct. You don't need to do that. A new dot string line should be added after a spark line. This is also not required. A new streamline should be added after the dot load data source line. This is also not correct. Now, a new dot streamline should be added after the dot read line. That is also not required. Instead of read, when you have a streaming data set, then you have to use a dot read stream. If you will see, there is a spark dot read stream, dot format, cloud files, dot option, and all these are there, and the write stream. You need to make sure you are aware of the particular command that is used for your read stream and the write stream. Let's move on to the next question. That is, a data engineer has configured a structured streaming job to read from a table, manipulate the data, and then perform a streaming write into a new table. The code of the block is as follows. If the data engineer only wants the query to execute a single micro batch to process all of the available data, which of the following lines of code should the data engineer use to fill in the blank? So if you see in this particular query that is being written by the Databricks, there is an option called dot trigger, which is available now. There could be different options that you can use for trigger. So let's see what does available now does. It means it will go ahead and trigger that particular query at that particular instance only, and then it will complete that particular query execution. Trigger once equal to true means it will process all of the available data at once. That's for this is not correct. Processing time once or trigger processing time equal to once. We don't provide it as once. We provide a time frame, let's say 1 or 2 or whatever. Then you don't have this also correct. So the correct option here is trigger once equal to true, as we saw it in the example. So the correct answer for this particular question is trigger once equal to true.
Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you have a good day.